Everybody is pulling in the same direction. Not that you're not when you first get here, but it's like you get everybody together, and then if you go and go and go and keep doing the same thing with the same people over time, it makes my job a lot easier, and so I appreciate those guys.
Thank you. Cam was such an important vocal leader for you guys last year, holding everyone accountable. How do you feel like things are at with that right now going into camp with your side of it?
I think it's very similar, other than the fact that, Carson hasn't played yet here, like in the spring, but he's been in the summer and in the player-led stuff, he's been taking reps all through the summer. And so I do think as this camp goes along, every offense has got to gel together. Every offense has got to do a lot of similar things to be good. But I do think that we have a handful of very vocal leaders. We're as steady as you can be up front, which is really the key to our whole success. Even last year was we're really, and one of the reasons that both those quarterbacks chose Miami was because of how we're built up front. And so I think every quarterback wants to play behind a very good O-line. And look, we walk out there with some dudes. And so that's very appealing to guys.
You have a lot of new faces on offense, but they are faces that are experienced at the college level.
Yeah.
You mentioned receiver, a bunch of new guys, but they have played at the college level.
Yeah.
That experience, in your opinion, how important is that just to navigate a full season successfully? Because those guys have done it, and they know what it takes because seasons are long.
Seasons are long.
I feel like that experience factor.
Oh, it's vital. I don't think there's anything more important than experience, And so we have a lot of guys that played a lot of ball, like you said. Now, all of them weren't here playing ball together. Even James, the center, he wasn't a Miami Hurricane last year, but he's played a lot of football, and he's seen a lot of things, and he's felt the games, he's felt the season, the length of the season, and how the length of the season with all the practices and all the other stuff, the wear and tear, how to take care of your body, why it's important to go to bed, why it's important to put the right things into your body. And so all that stuff is really kind of scooped together in experience, right? And so we do have a lot of guys, even though they might be new faces, they've played a lot of football. And so they've been through the grind. And they're very mature players, mature kids. And so they just got to, like I said, the process of gelling together is the deal.
When you have a guy like Carson who, obviously he's played a lot of football, but he's still coming in, he's having to learn new offense, how much of a learning curve do you give, someone like that as far as, when he actually gets on the field, understanding there's probably going to be some mistakes because, on one hand, he hasn't, thrown a ball, in a live rep with pads on in a while, but on the other hand, he's also played a lot of football.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to go through camp perfect.
Yeah.
And so there's trial and error everywhere, and so that's just part of the process, and this is usually, you can watch clips of NFL practices and see the same thing. Mm-hmm. There's going to be days we make a lot of good decisions and a lot of, things happen that go our way, and then there might be the next day where we can't get a first down. Mm-hmm. Happened in last year's camp quite a bit. And so that's just the flow of camp. And so I don't really think too much day to day in camp. All I think about in camp is more, hey, it's the process to get to where we want to get to be prepared to play week one.
Where does Elijah Lofton rank in your coaching career of unique players with his skill set, and with a player like that, do you have to kind of go out of your way to be creative or use him in creative ways?
I feel like, to answer your question very transparently, I feel like where we've gotten offensively, because we do move people around a lot, that I don't have to think about that with him because the ball naturally finds him, and he's going to line up a lot of different places and in the backfield and whatever. I just think he has the unique skill set to do all those things. You know what I mean? That's rare to find. And so he is one of the most unique players at that position that I've seen, and probably the most unique that I've had. I'd have to really think about that, but I don't think that the answer would be any different. And his early in his career, look, this kid's got a lot of football ahead of him. And so it's it's just fun to have a guy like that that can do a lot of things where you don't you can line him up wherever you want to line him up, and just call the play and let it happen. I mean, the ball might not go to him because of certain things on the defense, but and the key is if it does go to him, he can probably do something with it.
Shannon, you talked about experienced players, but you have experience of working with different quarterbacks over the years. I had a chance to talk with Clayton recently. What's the key in different styles of quarterbacks? What's the key for you or your approach to try to maximize everything that they can be, try to bring the best out of these quarterbacks, understanding that they're all different?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is really don't try to create robots. Everybody's got a different skill set. And so as time goes, and have honest conversations. That's, as time goes, you run plays and you go through installs and you figure out what certain people do good, and what certain people feel comfortable doing. And so, and you got to figure out what they need to work on the most from a day to day, and a lot of times that is stuff like pocket awareness stuff, like feeling more comfortable in the pocket. That's kind of the hurdle I've had with a lot of quarterbacks in the past is like you said Clayton, so that came to my mind. I love Clayton. Clayton was a little antsy in the pocket when I first got him. And so then I was like, okay, I see the issue. The kid's really talented. He can make all the throws. He's got a very, good brain for the game, high IQ. Let's get him to where he's more comfortable in the pocket, So finding ways to rep that, finding ways to do things at practice, but also pointing it out a lot in film. It's hey, you scrambled here, you really didn't have to, and just reassuring to them hey, when it's a clean pocket, trust a clean pocket. That's a lot of quarterbacks make that mistake. It's when it's a clean pocket, trust it. That's hard to do when your eyes are down the field and you got big guys rushing you. It's probably the hardest thing to do in our sport, but it's the one thing that we stress a lot. Because having that comfort level in the pocket's important. I mean, Carson has a natural comfort level in the pocket because that's what he's been doing for a long time. And so we'll figure out what those hurdles are throughout camp. But I do think the key is to let kids kind of morph into who they are. Don't try to create robots with people.
Kind of going back to the offensive line, I'm curious as a coordinator, when you're trying to worry about so many different things, when you feel comfortable, confident in that group, how much does it allow you to not worry or be concerned so much with either play calling or success of your offense when you feel good about what's up front?
Well, it's the absolute most important thing. And I don't worry about those guys, and Coach Mirabal does a phenomenal job, the best I've been around at coaching those guys. And so their capacity is really high for the amount of stuff to do too. And so, yeah, I mean, it frees you up. It's very freeing to know that you have a steady group up there, and they're going to do, if we're running the ball, they're going to push people around, and if we're throwing it, they're really good at protecting the quarterback too. So it does free you up to hey, call the game,
You've spoken about this a lot. We made so much of how well you guys threw the ball, Cam, last year. You always talked about how good you guys ran the ball too. The importance of, again, running the ball for this offense to operate at a high level, just the importance of the running game, if you could speak on that.
Well, I mean, we're always going to stress the physical part of football first. And running the football is always going to be something that we are going to do efficiently. Because I do believe you have to make a defense play honest. And if you're just one-dimensional, then defenses don't have to play honest football. And so the way our offense works with run game, play action and pass, the play action isn't going to be nearly good if you don't run the ball effectively, So there's a lot of things that happened last year that was a direct result of us running the ball very efficiently where they had to put people in the box, which opens up the pass game. And so it's the first thing that we preach, it's the first thing we do, and we're going to keep emphasizing that.